Welcome, everybody. Hi. Hi. Don't have Donna here to nudge me and get me going. And we also don't have her here to make one of her fun jokes about the cell phone, so we'll get up with that. But for now, just make sure you're turning them off, okay? And I don't want to be embarrassed by having mine on, so I'm going to check on it too. There we go. Well, we're so thankful that we can be together on this spring morning. When you think about it, we schedule a lot of our things by time that we have to get certain places, and time and the cycles of the year. But time, we're not sure about this, but it might be something that we deal with on planet Earth a lot more than the rest of the universe deals with. So we can get kind of caught up in our schedules and in our pressures, and when we come here, it's a chance to breathe and have a time out of time, a prayer space. So let's just start with a breath. Breathe in and breathe out. When you breathe mindfully like this, you're coming into the here and the now. So I invite you throughout this service to stay here. Hold your full attention here. And thereby we'll take our attention into the presence of the divine. Okay? Well, before we get too far into the program, we need to bless the children and see if we have any announcements. Now, I hear children out there, but where are they? We've got Marla, our teacher, here. Do you kids want to come up front? Are there any kids to come up and be sung to? We can sing to them from a distance here. Oh, I see. One running. Yeah, the red dresses should definitely come up. I guess the universe wanted us to wake up. We need to appreciate that dress one more time. We have a beautiful altar up here this morning. Lots of times we have the altar sitting here and we don't necessarily draw attention to it, but it's just especially beautiful this morning, which is so apropos for spring. And honoring the candles that are lit there, just wanted to do a candle lighting reading. And it draws from Matthew 5:15. Let your light so shine that they who see your good works will glorify God who is in heaven. So we make our own metaphysical interpretation of this. The most beautifully adorned candle, no matter how great its potential, can never fulfill its potential when the flame is not lit. We too are but candles, waiting to be set ablaze, to become a powerful transforming agent. So what is it that ignites your soul, that dwells so deep within? For you, is it the mystical sound of music? Or the delicate movement of dance? Or hearing some deep thought? Or tasting a culinary delight? Do you feel fully alive as you walk among the majestic madrones by the rapidly flowing creek? Or do you find your spark in service to others, in holding little children? Whatever your passion is, the thing that lights you up, this becomes your guiding star. We've got to share these gifts, shine this light, to feel fully alive and powerful. Don't you agree? So I want you to say this with me as we begin our service. I allow my life to illuminate everything and everyone. I allow my life to illuminate everything and everyone. I am filled to overflowing. I am filled to overflowing. With this life that is holy. With this life that is holy. My life is full of joy and peace. And so it is. My life is full of joy and peace. And so it is. Doesn't it just feel kind of good to say words like that to yourself? My life is full of joy and peace. And so it is. Well, we've got a great song, and Heather's going to introduce our host of fabulous musicians this morning, and we've got a real treat ahead of us with the music planned for today.
Yes. So we are blessed to have the following artists join us and volunteer their talents here with us today and their gifts. We have Frank Bernard Palmer, and you'll be hearing one of his original pieces shortly. Dan Covan, and Lane Lindsay Alexander. Did I say your name right?
I'll swap the last two.
Lane Alexander Lindsay, who will be sharing two of his poems. And Donna B will be playing at least on one song and joining Richard and I. So thank you. And this piece is so gorgeous. It's by Ani Williams, who's been with us here before. It's from her album Shema, The Calling, that Richard actually helped produce. And so thank you for this song, Ani. It's called Walking Through. And after the first time, if you'd like to join us, catch some of the words, please do.
you'll note, remain standing for a minute with me, and in this delicate, beautiful moment, take another breath in and release it. And as this heightened state of awareness starts to build here, this presence of life, of God, Goddess, of goodness, we do just take a moment to realize that beauty and peace are with us all the time. And we begin to realize that this presence of God, of Goddess, of goodness, doesn't come and go. Our thoughts come and go. Our intentions and attachments come and go like the ebb and flow of the ocean, but this presence is never absent. This God, Goddess, whatever we want to call it, this energy of life is fully being itself, always creating and changing and reshaping, yet without compromising its nature at any time throughout all eternity. So when we say that we are one with God, we are one with all peace. Peace is always peace. Love is always love. Life is always life. And we are here as recipients of this life that was given to us as a gift. So when we hear songs like this calling out to us to walk on through, we're being called, especially right now on the planet, to remember that we are the light, we are the peace, we are the love, we are the ones with the presence of goodness that is always emanating in every single moment. Do you agree with me? Can you feel it?
Yes.
So we just celebrate these kind of opportunities to get together with great music and great poetry and remind ourselves of who we really are. Our souls need this, don't you think?
Yeah.
So that we can become more and never less than our true selves. More and never less than our true selves. Say that with me. So that we can become more and never less than our true selves. Something wonderful is happening right in this very moment. And it's because you're here. It's happening in your cells, in your bones, in your body, in your mind, because you are full of the radiant light of God. This radiant light of God, Goddess, illuminates your eyes. It illuminates the eyes of your eyes that you can see the glory of the truth that really surrounds us all the time. So with me right now, just give thanks in your heart. Just give thanks to Spirit. You know, in some churches they would just shout out or raise their hands or something, but we have got a lot to be grateful for, and gratefulness is an antidote to a lot that's going on in our world right now. So just sense that gratefulness in your heart for the truth that is. And then look around you and see who chose to be with you on this Sunday morning ride. Some pretty great people here. And cast a blessing around you with your eyes. And be grateful for everybody who showed up here instead of going out for a coffee or out for a walk in the park. Here they are. They came here because there's something special that we need to be and do here together. So now if you want to welcome each other with a hug. Wanting Blaine to come out of the kitchen for a long time. So sometimes, you know, we need to be reminded by one another that it's worth holding on. Sometimes we can get pretty discouraged, and we need a little encouragement from one another to hang in there, to stay awake, to stay alert, and hold on. And that's what this poem of Flames is going to be encouraging you to do.
No. No, don't fold. Only cloves in the garden, humming an ancient tune. Only time in on itself in deep meditation. No, don't fall. Only in love so deep that volcanoes understand. Only to nap here sweetly on this bed of blessings. No, don't cry. water this beanstalk for us all to be giants. And though they'd like to send a sky full of arrows to silence you, no, don't be quiet. Only to get the message across, or, well, choosing which truth to be told. And though lifetimes inside them rattle their cages, and hatred unhealed is revealed in their souls, no, don't reflect. Only to show them a glimpse of your power, or to harness it all and feed it to love. And when the snow is thick on the landscape of society and their hell freezes over, no, don't give up. Only to send up smokestacks, or to give up the ghosts, or just to maybe offer up a prayer. And when the world seems like it's caught up in a twisted board game, no, don't stop playing. Because you know it's Jumanji. Hold on, please. As the times rhyme with ever stranger change, there's deadly pocket monsters and they're playing no games. There's crude oil dripping from the dollar bill, machine-made bullet-shaped blindfolds covering and smothering, but hold on. When, wow, I can't find any animals out in wild except ear-pierced cows now, or birds blessed with winged survival tactics from, well, wicked we of course. And none escape the rain, thick with what's sprayed. Hold on. While crickets chirp the night away, pray in any kind of way for strength to stand and find a way. Don't fly away. Don't leave me here. Don't quit in fear to escape the day. Hold on. Reach out to him, to her, them, us, whoever we used to be or are now, to any shade, any soul. Reach out. Grip firm. Take it all. All your grace. All potential, all the time in the world, come spend some on us. Just don't let go of trust that we must find a way. Together we're not quite lost while wandering through galactic midnight. Hold on. I feel day breaking, love anchoring, illusions of evil falling with madness into violet lavas of love. I feel our heart, our work, our actions here on earth building the change. Burning iniquities, holding the future. So hold on. Thank you.
That was super inspiring. The way you speak it, too. Beautiful. Oh. Well, here we are, almost to May 1st. And does that strike a chord in any of you Celtic-rooted people? Beltane, spring, these cycles come round again in human consciousness to inspire us and to remind us. And spring, it's happening, whether we celebrate it or not, it's always happening. Ancient people used to believe that they had to do something. If they didn't sing down the moon or sing up the sun, that might not happen. Do we understand that we have a part in it all somehow? We really do. I think through people getting more aware of ecology and more aware of climate change, we're starting to realize, whoa, we do have something to do with it all. Maybe the ancient people weren't so superstitious and far off. So as we pause in these moments to think about it being May 1st, spring, Beltane, we're actually doing something pretty important, maybe. So this Sunday and next Sunday, we're going to be focusing on what does it mean to be involved in this life energy that pushes up in the spring and that surges through all around us? What does it mean for us? So next Sunday, Dennis and Jeannie and Donna, Richard are going to be, Jenny, I was saying wrong, Jenny, Donna, Richard are going to be here doing a full-blown Beltane ritual, even with a maypole, I think, right? Yes. So we're going to be outside and, really doing the maypole and the May Beltane celebration. So I want to lead into that this week by talking about a certain aspect of this May Day. And I was remembering as I walked on the grass, taking Monk for a walk and seeing all the little purple and white violets coming up naturally, that my grandmother used to say to us when we were really small at May Day. She taught us year after year, do you know what today is? Today is the day that you go out maying. And that's an old Celtic saying, go out maying. And what it means is you stop everything and you go outside and you just appreciate all the flowers. And you play and you frolic and you have a really fun time. And then she taught us that what the children are supposed to do is ask the flower, certain ones if you can pick it, and be very careful which ones you pick, and take a little bouquet with a little ribbon around it to each of the neighbors' doorsteps. And don't let them see you leaving it there, because you're like a little fairy who's leaving them a little present. Did any of you ever do that? Yeah. Customs live on. Okay, now this next part about Beltane, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand if you ever did this. When I was in the Bay Area and was involved in the pagan community there, they were telling me that one thing that Beltane was about was that the adults got to frolic too. And that as the children enjoyed the frolicking in the daytime, at night the children were put to bed and then the Beltane fires were lit. And the fires were very important because they did represent passion and the igniting of what might have been sleeping all winter. And so the adults went frolicking out into the woods too, but on this particular special night, they let go of who they were partners with, and they would frolic and meet up with who they met up with. And that was, you might think, oh, that's quite risque, but then as I started to think about it, I thought, well, they had one night that was ritualized in a container to do that, and we kind of spread it out throughout the whole year without a ritual container sometimes. So I'm not advocating for anything, any direction. Maybe the ancient peoples had something right, But I think at any rate that Beltane is a ritual that teaches humans humility and letting go of ego, letting go of what has died, letting go of what's past, letting go of even what's future, and having some passionate detachment in the moment. Passionate detachment. What do you think of that word? Just we'll dwell on it for a minute. Passionate detachment. So passion, it's a good thing, right? It's good to have, you've got to have it, to have growth in your life and joy and creativity. You've got to care about things. And yet, doesn't this become one of the hard things in our human life? When we care a whole lot, we get very passionate, and then we have to let go. It's a hard part of human life. And sometimes we go, I'm never going to love again. I'm not going to care about that anymore. But one of the tricks that we're here to learn is how to be passionate and detached. In the right timing, even simultaneously. So we need practices that loosen us up from our death grips. Maybe death grips that are on us or that we're putting on others. Because what we're really here for is to experience divine union with the Creator. This is what the alchemists call the great work. And we experiment with it through masculine, feminine, and all kinds of combinations of humans coming together in what can be called the great union of the Heros Gamos. Beyond all duality is where we're headed, to the beatific union. So Beltane honors the magnificent freedom of life energy to always create itself anew. And the Beltane fires are lit, and they represent the sun coming back again, the energy of life that does ignite new hope. Did you know that the word Beltane actually originates from the Celtic god Bel, meaning the bright one? And the Tane part means fire. So this word actually means bright fire, or goodly fire. Bright fire, goodly passion. Traditionally, all the fires in the community were put out, and then a special fire was kindled for Beltane. And this was the Tane, again, the need fire or the wish fire. So, had you ever heard that before? That at Beltane they lit the need fire, the desire fire, the passion fire, the wish fire. And they would jump over the fire with hand fasting. Maybe they would get hand fasted at Beltane and commit to one another again, or they would jump over the fire for fertility, or they would run their animals around in the smoke of the fire to get cleansed and for protection from disease and to bring fertility. So the fire, the wish fire, this fire at Beltane was very, very important. And then they would all take a little stick from the wish fire and light the fire in their home again. I heard that happened at Yule time too, but the communal gathering together around passion and admitting that communal passion is important, individual passion is important. So I want you to be thinking about, as we go through some more beautiful poetry and music, that what is the light of truth, the passion that's awakening in you this spring? And how are you going to touch it? How are you going to come into contact with it and let something really ignite even further in you? And then how are you going to passionately also let go when it's time to let go? So those are my questions for you today. And Blaine has another wonderful poem. And you want to do the song first? Okay, okay.
The song and the poem.
All right, I think that would be great. Because it does really relate to what I'm saying. This song is so beautiful. It's called The Unity of the Heart. Coming together to discover the unity of the heart.
Wow, that was so wonderful. Thank you so much. I was trying to think of what I was going to say for this song, because it is an intermarriage song. But you said it already. Eros Gamos. But I will add, today at the Well Springs, there is a Beltane gathering, just in case anyone's interested. Heather and I will both be there singing some songs. I'll be playing the bard and have some antlers on my head. It's going to be fun. But yeah, I wanted to just mention before I started this song that it is an intermarriage song. That I wrote it for the unification of the electric and magnetic within myself. It's kind of encryptic. It's a little cryptic. It all means something to me. It's like my masculine and my feminine side coming together, having a dialogue. And so I thought it would be really nice to share unity of the heart at this church with you folks. I'm up against. So many visions, so many dreams. It's only you, it's only you. It's only you, it's only. So many faces that I see. Who do I follow and who do I need? It's only you, it's only you. It's only you, it's only you. Am I going crazy? Or is it my heart opening? All of my ideals run against the grain, cutting into the memory of your name. So medicine man, sing to me. Your voice is your heart, set the bird free. It's only you, it's only, it's all in you. It's only you, it's only you. Red-headed cardinal flies with me. Dimensional shaman under the pink. It's only you, it's only, it's all in you. It's only you, it's only you. Am I going crazy? Or is it my heart opening? All of my ideals run against the grain, cutting into the memory of your name. In the earth of duality, I must be honest, I must be free. I'm sent here to shake up the system with the unity of the heart. Unity of the heart. Unity of
this life, what am I knowing? On this stage, who am I showing my true face to? This mask so heavy. I've seen levees just breaking under pressure with waves of pain that's mixed with pleasure when we're all sticking to this script. All of our days too vast to measure. This treasure buried under layers inside all of these players of life's games, played by lovers, treasure hunters, and soothsayers. So if you'll go for gold, well then go within. Both rags and riches found therein, and when you're sifting through those piles, know the righteousness from sin. And since to sin means just to miss the mark, let's redirect those shots in the dark and with good aim to shed some light from fires started from the sparks. In this world, where are you going? In this stream, where are you rowing your boat to, and why so quickly? Pick the farthest destinations through troubled waters with no explanations, and none are needed. Just live your truth and make your life a celebration. You've come this far. Congratulations. Here we are. And what a trip. Each day leaves like a drip from this melting glacier that we're climbing. Hope you catch me if I slip. Just skip charades, hold me down like tree roots held by the ground, 'cause I've been blowing in the wind just like those answers to be found. Here we are. Here we are. It's strange, but true. Clues as to why I have but a few. Maybe back from the light to try life anew, as earth calls for bright souls like grass to the dew. Or star seeds far flung here to sprout and plant roots to help bring forth much fruits of our labors of love inspired by truths. Or to blossom our minds, expressing true intentions. Listen to the heart and take heed what it mentions. I'm sure we're not here to need our inventions, obsessive dissensions when progress is defined by high-tech destructive mobs of the blind. They just rob all they can find to economize life, swindling Mother Nature at the point of a knife to impose upon all those opposed much troubles and strife. I swear, she's sweet, Mother Nature, but fierce in full swing. Her lightning bolt fingers, storm cloud wedding ring, and he's strict, Father Time, but patient with days. His minute hands calloused, smiling through sun rays of 1,000,001 ways to make those most grandparents proud, and all your gratitude known. Please be fearless with the knowledge that your path leads you home. And if the light fades, let darkness fall, let spiders crawl and stars guide. The many nightshades of our souls, all like shamans, lead the eye inside, dissolving nightmares right where attention's needed most, to clean the temples, clear the shadows, shake the dust, rid the ghosts, 'cause here we are.
Oh, that's a perfect poem for Beltane. Back from the light to try life anew as earth calls for bright souls like grass to the dew. Beltane and that. Star seeds here to plant roots. Star seeds, you all here to plant roots. Help bring forth much fruits of our labors and of love inspired by truths. Wow. Just beautiful. Oh. Well, last week after Donna so beautifully talked about change and accepting change and even honoring change in our lives and knowing that change is inevitable and change brings us what it must, and change, she asked us if we felt bad or good about it, and I think by the end of the service we came to kind of like change. But if spring is about anything, right, it is about change. Big change. And there's another poem that I asked Anya to come and read, because what happened last week after I left here, and Donna's wonderful encouragement to us to accept change, I went over and visited Jan and Prudence, and they're going through a lot of changes. Changes in Jan's body. He can't come to church anymore. And so he told me about a niece of his named Kelly, who was such a great poet, like he is, taking after him, and she won the Pushcart nomination, which is a great award for poets, with this beautiful poem called America Already Broken. And Anya is going to read it for us in honor of Jan and his niece, Kelly.
And he had me read this poem. He had me read this poem when I went to see him last week. So let's just take a moment and hold Jan in our hearts. Our beautiful brother, poet, minister, guardian of light. America, already broken. Long ago, the gods drew a circle in the sand exactly around the spot where you are standing right now. You were never not coming here. This was never not going to happen. Wherever your eyes and arms and heart move, on the earth and beneath the sky, the beloved kneels. The place where you are right now, the gods circled on a map. This is not the God you thought you knew, but the one instead who knew you, the rough beast. Let there be light, a being in a black hat, dices and chops the empty space. That hollow in the chest where the soul of a country calls from the deep. When the void is cracked open to reveal a long legacy of hate, spirit moves beneath. The heart is a muscle that must work. So we are given a mirror and hands. Don't go back to sleep. Don't go back to sleep.
Well, it's not an easy poem to hear, really. And I was kind of surprised when I read it last week. Jan sent it to me in the email. And yet, it really echoed so much of what he and I and Prudence talked about. So I couldn't help but bring a different perspective to this spring celebration. And thinking about passionate detachment had been on my mind before I went over to visit Jan and Prudence. Passionate detachment, because I lived in Japan for several years, and in the spring over there, it's amazing because the cherry blossoms are everywhere. Magnificent. All kinds of cherry blossoms line every street in the cities and the countryside. But the people, they take their cherry blossoms very seriously. Every company closes down for a whole week. It's called Obon Festival. Every school closes. Every family gets together. They go and get their older people. They come together. And the whole place is shut down, I tell you, for the cherry blossoms. They sit under the cherry blossom trees on blankets, and they drink this special sweet sake and have special little cherry treat delights that they've made. And they stay out in the moonlight because the the moonlight through the cherry blossoms, you must see it. It's different than the daylight light on the cherry blossoms. So with their Buddhist cultural perspective, they love passionately the cherry blossoms, knowing that they're only going to last such a short time. But they take off from doing everything to be with the cherry blossoms. Impermanence is not seen as something wrong or bad. Change isn't something wrong or bad, it just is. So in this week of fading cherry blossoms, I got a call to go pick up the big Buddha statue that some of our former friends of Unity no longer wanted around. And so within that same day, I got another call to go and get a big Mother Mary statue, and then a big St. Francis statue. How did it all happen? In one day, I got flooded with big, heavy statues of change. People not wanting them in their certain places anymore, and required quite a bit of work to lift them and change their spot, and made me think about how sometimes, change requires some hefty moving on our part, and moving of our hearts. So the thing about the Buddha statue was that it's a little worse for its travels. He got a really big crack running right down through him. And I couldn't help but think how, as we experiment with these human relationships, sometimes that we do get cracked open. Hearts break, and we learn. We live and learn. The crack reminded me of a saying by Ajahn Chah, who was a Theravadan Buddhist teacher I studied with, who said this about broken glasses. Someone asked him one day, "Master, how can you be happy in a world of such impermanence, where you cannot protect your loved ones from harm, illness, and death, where love comes and it goes in your life?" And the master picked up a glass, and he said, "Someone gave me this glass, and I use it every day. I just love this glass. It holds my water admirably, and it glistens in the sunlight." I sort of a prop here. I touch it, and it rings. But one day the wind may blow it off the shelf, or my elbow might knock it from the table. So I just look at this glass and I know it's already broken. So I enjoy it incredibly. That poem, America, already broken. Let's not be so surprised. We knew these things were there, these brokennesses that needed healing, these things needed to come out. So the springtime, the time of birth and green budding and such full lushness, is also a season when a number of people I know are having somebody that they just loved pass, like Anna, or losing loved ones, like Prudence may be about to do. Life is complicated. In some cases, the death of people that I have known are dying lately have been what you call a good death. That means their friends are around them, their family, and they have time to put their affairs in order. What is a good death, really? But then other times, death can be totally unexpected, like accidents or blinding, quick illnesses. Sometimes these deaths are marked with feelings of bitterness and regret that will never be addressed in any satisfactory way. Life is just complex, and we've got to hold the complexity. We've got to keep loving deeply all the while, knowing that the body fades, yet love and life do not die. So when I went over to see Jan, he gave me this book, The Truth Is, by Punjaji. And I didn't know this so much before about Jan and Prudence, but when I sat down with them for several hours last week, they told me that they had lived in a community with Punjaji as their teacher. And Rama Maharshi, is that how you say his name?
Ramana Maharshi. Ramana Maharshi.
Ramana Maharshi. Great teachers that Jan and Prudence have had in their lives. And so they told me many stories of how they lived in a spiritual community, and the community life was challenging and everything, but they felt so privileged to be around what they considered really enlightened beings. And I said, well, what were the core of these teachings? And this is what Jan said. He said, it all boils down to this. The truth is, this moment is all we've got. The present moment. And with that knowing, in the present moment, you have it all. In the present moment, you are one with the all. And so he said to me, I'm not afraid to die, because I'm so much more than this body. I've been hearing from these teachers all my life that the one that is the all is everywhere present all the time and never absent. So I am one with the ever-present one, and then I am ever-present too. I am more than this body or mind. And as he looked at me with his bright blue eyes, but in a fading complexion, just brought tears to my eyes to be in the presence of a man who really believed this. He had a hold on it, and he quoted many different Ernest Holmes sayings to me, because he had become an ordained science of mind minister, you know. And when he's spoken here amongst us, he's talked about that. He said to me, he said, Ernest Holmes, I love this quote, the invisible things of God from the foundation of the world are made manifest by the visible. And he repeated it over to me a couple times. The invisible things of God from the foundation of the world are made manifest in the visible. So who are you? You are God made manifest. What you see comes out of what you don't see. What you do see interprets what you don't see. What you do see is what you don't see in the form of what you do see. Like that. And it just
Say that
around
again.
your mind over and over. So
Norma, say that again.
what you see comes out of what you don't see. What you see, what we see all around us, got created out of nothing. What you do see, what you perceive, interprets what you don't see, the invisible. So what you do see is what you don't see. What you do see is what you don't see in the form of what you do see. Get it?
Yeah.
Totally. So the universe has to be in an undivided and indivisible totality. The universe has to be in an undivided and indivisible totality whose whole essence appears at any and every point within it simultaneously and evenly distributed. The universe has to be an undivided and indivisible totality. It's called universe, after all. And its whole essence appears at any and every point within it simultaneously, evenly distributed. So any and every point, you are one of those points. New Thought teachings, Ernest Holmes and Filmers have been trying to get this across to us. What would we do if we really accepted it? Well, I believe last Sunday I was looking in the eyes of a man and a woman who really accepted it. Jan and Prudence. They've wholeheartedly devoted their hearts to each other, passionately. They were crying and touching and loving and kissing, and as she touched his body, it was almost like, I said to her, it looked like you're following a map. And he and she looked at each other, and yes, she said, he's the map of my heart. So they love so deeply, and they also acknowledge eternity, you know. They're both saying we're not at all afraid of death. Like, yes, we will be, you know, not with each other, but there's great love and beauty and peace in every moment. So who's to say what any particular moment will be like? So I just want to encourage us to keep moving along this path of truth, you know, truth like this in the presence of this mystery, this unified mystery of love, peace, beauty that is indivisible and whole in the universe and in us, and eternally new, untouched by circumstance, and constantly becoming more and more alive in us. So I want to talk to us for a couple minutes about what happens to us then. Why aren't we with this all the time? I think one way of putting it that Michael Beckwith talks about is that we get the disease of the imagination. We get kind of a virus in our system, and it fools us into clinging to form, this disease of our imagination. There are different gradients of this disease of the imagination. I just want to talk about 4 of them that Ernest Holmes talks about. When you hear the word imagination, can you kind of hear I am genie? I am a genie? Imagination? I am a genie? Well, this genie produces whatever we're imagining, like that, you know? So we can rub our magic lamp of our minds, and oh boy, what we create with our imaginations. What Ernest Holmes says is that our imaginations aren't bad, they're wonderful, we need them, they're creative, we've got to have them, but they can get hijacked so easily. And so just to take account of ourselves for a couple minutes here today about how do our imaginations get hijacked. One way is a perception of lack and limitation. We can create a whole wide field of fear and not enoughness, and that blocks our vision of what the truth is. Do scarcity and limitation exist in the universe of the mind of God? Ernest Holmes says. If it did, if scarcity and lack existed in the universe, they would be forever. But they're not. They're just thought forms that can be dissolved. So they are a temporary blip. Lack and limitation. Now, this is pretty intense. Because we look around at poverty and sickness and need in our world, we say, well, surely they do exist and we've got to do something about them. Yes, and what New Thought teachings are saying is that the diseased part of our imagination has created all of these fields of scarcity and limitation, these morphogenic fields that we create and then live in. We've got to have a spring house cleaning on planet Earth. If that's not what the universe is about, what have we been doing here, right? Another disease of the imagination is future gratification. When people love me enough, or when he really likes me the way I want him to, or when I get this thing over there, then I'm going to be so satisfied. But Ernest Holmes says, unfortunately or fortunately, the ego is never going to be satisfied with anything that doesn't come from inside of you. So we've got to stop our future gratification, even if it's about, oh, someday planet Earth will be healed, or someday it will be better, someday we'll have a different government. It's radical, what New Thought is saying. It's saying we can't be wasting our time on so much future gratification thinking. Wow. We've got to be grateful right now. Gratefulness in the present moment is the antidote to the disease of future gratification. Ernest Holmes says you have to jump into the now and receive all that is here right now in every moment. Are you with me? Jump into the now to receive all that is. I mean, if we're going to be New Thought, we might as well get with what they're saying. You've got to jump into the now and receive it. Become the emotional set point where you live in the here and now. You become the emotional set point. You get what that means? We let so much affect us emotionally and run us here and there. But in any particular moment, if you jump into the present moment, we jump into the present moment, and don't have lack or limitation and aren't thinking about the future, we're a vibrational match with all the blessings of the universe. The third thing is comparison. This is another way that the disease of the imagination gets us, and it's very deadly. We're not here to play the game of comparison, although we're so trained in it. We're so trained to think inferior, superior. I like this, I don't like that. This is worse, this is better. I'm better, you're worse, you're better, I'm worse. So even equalness is not what it's all about. What it is about is stepping into the great I amness in the present moment. Others can inspire you or be a model for you or encourage you, but stay out of comparison. In fact, Michael Beckwith says to his people over and over again, stop comparison, stop comparison. It's one of the deadliest things that we can do to stop ourselves from being in the blessings of the present moment. And the fourth thing is, I wonder if you could guess it, if I gave you a chance to guess. The fourth major disease of our imagination is worst case scenario thinking. How often do you allow our minds to run away with worst possible case scenarios? Say to yourself, if the worst thing happens, I still exist. That's exactly what Jan said to me last week. Even if I die and leave this body, I am still the I am in the image and likeness of God. So let's say to ourselves, to whoever out there wants to hijack our imagination through media or whatever things out there are hijacking us, we're not going to be hijacked anymore. We're talking about this Buddhist teaching of right thinking. Right thinking really is about passionate detachment. It's a way of realigning with the truth that is God, that is the universe. Punjaji explains it with a metaphor of, okay, if you hold out your hand, you've got space in this hand, right? And you hold out your other hand and you've got space in that hand. Well, the two hands are different. You get somebody else to hold out their hand and they've got space in that hand, and another hand, space in that hand. The space is all the same. It's the hands that are different. So the space is there all the time for our accessing at any particular moment. It's just that in our form, we are holding it differently. So that which is real cannot be imagined. It's not made up. You cannot imagine, really, the joy, the love, the peace of the universe. They are real. You just have to live into the vibration, into that space, into the I am one with the presence of. Can you kind of get the feeling of how that might happen? Can you? Have you done it? A moment that I remember in my life when I did it, had to do it, was after I'd worked in the battered women's movement for many years, and I was so caught up in my imagination with worst case scenario, comparison, fears, and thinking of the difficulties in people's lives on planet Earth, that we get to points like that when we're so overwhelmed that I was thinking, I just need to leave planet Earth because it's bad, really bad. But I needed a change. I needed a perception shift. And I met Guadalupe, and she really helped me to achieve that perception shift. And when I came all the way through it, I was in this mindset that Ernest Holmes is explaining, where I experienced, it wasn't a rational understanding of it all, it wasn't a making sense of everything on planet Earth like I had figured it out, but it was going to this other mindset that exists all the time, in which I felt the beauty of it all. I experienced the love of it all. I experienced the peace in the midst of it all. And I experienced my oneness with everything around me. So I just want to end with a beautiful quote from this book that Jan lent me. And Jan, you told me that you watched these services afterwards on our Unity tape. So I just want to thank Jan for being here in our lives all this time, being a model of a person that I want to emulate, and Prudence too. And this passage that I opened up to when I was sitting there at your house just reminds me so much of you and what you're trying to bring to us. You wrote a poem, Jan, about being the light, and Punjaji is saying here, the source of light and life is brighter than 1,000,000 suns. That's how you are, Jan. That's how you are. each one of you. When you want to be it itself, it will burst and instantly end all your suffering. When you want to be it, this sun that's brighter than 1,000,000 suns, it will burst in upon you instantly and end all your suffering. Simply gaze upon it. Don't question. Just dissolve into the light. Stay beyond your thought and mind, where the sun, moon, and stars do not arise. I'm talking to you about Krishna's abode, which is spoken of in the Bhagavad Gita. You can be there too. You need only absolute 100% total watchfulness in any particular moment. When something is going on, you must be totally alert to observe what is in front of you. It only happens once. Two swords cannot be kept in the same sheath. You can't have all your old habits, along with the question of inquiring who you are in this present moment, in the same sheath. You like that? Only one at a time. The other one you've been trying for millions of years. It takes millions of incarnations to attain this human birth. So you must have played very well. But now, in this incarnation, it's time to jump a little higher into your own higher self and discard everything else. Discarding doesn't mean that you run away from life. It means that you pay attention only to who you are in every changing moment. Then you can live with everything peacefully because everything comes out of that moment. Then you will know that what you called reality is not reality with a capital R. But you have to have this experience first. You've got to find out who you are. You've got to test out what is real and what is not real. And then you'll know that everything is that Tathagata, reality such as it is. Where else does creation come from? Where does all of the whole of samsara, all the animals, all the planets, all the concepts, all the trees, all the birds come from? There is only one source. Return to it. Merge with it. Know what it is, and everything is then just itself. There's no difference between you and what you call other. Know this, and you will speak to all beings, every rock, every tree, every animal, all at the same time, because time does not exist here. That's what I experienced in those moments with the ritual, and have experienced it in moments afterwards. Maybe you have too. That you can speak to every rock and tree and animal at the same time, because time does not exist. We can speak to every person, every being who has been here, who will be here at the same time. Time is a concept. Past, present, future is only a concept. So to know reality, just spend one instant out of time and find out what a silly phenomenon it is. Question to yourself, be 100% watchful, and you will know the answer that you've been seeking. The source is one, and you are one with the source. Oh. So we have a beautiful song next that last week I heard Heather asking Dan, what song would you like to play at Unity? Because you're leaving soon too. You're going on a big trip to the East Coast, and right away popped out of his mouth this song, Gayatri Mantra. This is a song that's sung by people all over the world to accomplish what I've just been talking about, to come into the present moment, only moment, with the awareness of the universal source of love, light being within us. So it's the perfect song to dwell into ourselves and let go into, jump into, leap into this present moment in this song.
you.